So in our previous lesson in Photoshop, we learned to work with layers using the eraser tool to erase the unwanted portion of an image and blend it in with a background image. So we're going to do more backgrounds in this lesson, but do it a different way by duplicating a background layer and then erasing through that layer. So we'll start with two images. Got Mr. Brown and a little fair background here. And so once again, you could always do something with these images before you start creating backgrounds. You'll just want to make sure that it's a single layer. Save it as a JPEG or flatten those images. I'm just going to take these images just as they were in their original state. Using the Move tool, we'll take Mr. Brown and put him on top of that background. And remember, one of the problems that some of you had is that you didn't click the transform control, so you want to make sure you click that, and that will show these little transform handles along the outside. So you can't see them now because I haven't clicked it. Now, the other thing you can do is press Control T. Control T would be a shortcut, and you can do that too to select that. Hold down the Shift key to maintain the proportions of that image. Like we said before, if you don't hold the Shift key down, then you're going to end up doing things like that. And you can skew it in many different ways, and so we don't want to do that. So Shift key down, show transform controls, resize. I think I'll go ahead and make him pretty large this time. And then click that check mark. And so that's what we did in the previous lesson, and then we used the eraser tool to come through here and erase some of these, some of the background of this original image here. And then we also used the magic eraser tool, which is very useful when you want to erase similar colored pixels. Just make sure that you adjust the tolerance when you do that. If you don't do that, then you end up erasing parts of this image that you do not want to do. So what you can do is adjust that so it's not quite so sensitive. I'll take that down to 15. And then it does a better job of recognizing the contrasting colors. But this time what we want to do is come over, let me put that original away. I want to come over to our layers here. And so I'm going to click on that background image, and there's the layer that I just put on top. There's my background. So I'm going to click on the background, right click, and then I'm going to duplicate that layer. And you can give it a name if you like. Now notice that it's right on top of the original background. Now it's called background copy. And so what I want to do is sandwich the picture of Mr. Brown in between these. So what I can do is I can rearrange these layers. So I can take this top layer and put it right there. And once again, you go ahead and pause that video and get caught up here, and then can move forward. The next step is to click on this background layer, and you'll notice up here you have opacity control of these different layers. So as I lower that, you'll be able to see the image of Mr. Brown coming through there. Now that's useful because what we're going to do is we're going to erase through this top layer to reveal this layer. So I'm going to lower that opacity so I can find his location of where he is. About right there. And then I'm going to go to my eraser tool, just the standard eraser tool. I'm going to set that opacity pretty low, probably come down around 15. And then get a real soft brush. Right now it's a real hard brush. We want this to be kind of like spray paint here, like an airbrush. And then using my brackets to adjust the size of my brush. And so I see Mr. Brown is right there. And so once I've done this a couple times, I know where he is. So then if I want, I can go ahead and put my opacity back up to 100%. So there's Mr. Brown coming through. And so then I could go ahead and just experiment a little bit with how much of him I want to come through here. There he is. And then of course you can always increase the opacity. And then what I'm going to do is try to blend that into the background. Just give it kind of a smooth look. So there's lots of opportunity for creativity when doing this type of a technique here. And if I want to see what else, there we go. I got some more arm there that I can work with. So I'm going to lower that even more. So there you go. Didn't like that one. Undo that. There you go. So now we've got a background layer, our image layer, and then a copy of that background, and we're erasing through it. And put that back to 100%, and there's the kind of effect we get. So do a lot of experimenting with that. It's a lot of fun, and of course you can do more than one layer. You can put a variety of images in here and have a lot of fun in getting creative in erasing through these layers.